Hi, everyone. We'll continue the recordings today with team Marked Communications, who worked for 2 semesters to promote the East St. Louis Mayor's Office. I think because of your activities and interventions and planning, the presence online and in social media and on their website and so on, even in print, was enhanced, and their business, I think, looks better now. So I'll give you the floor. You can start.
Thanks, Dr. Nastasia. So like he said, we are Marked Communications, and we have spent the last 2 semesters working on our campaign, We Are East St. Louis, for our client. My name is Becky Scanlon. I'm the account manager.
And I'm Felicia Lampley, and I'm the account executive copy.
And I'm David Stark, and I'm the account executive for analysis.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and I'm account executive for design.
Madeline, don't forget to unmute yourself.
I'm Madeline Zuber, and I'm the account executive for traffic.
So our client was the city of East St. Louis, and we specifically worked with the mayor's office. The municipality for East St. Louis started in 1861, but the current administration we were working with began in May of 2019. They came to us because they had a couple PR needs. They needed better communication between the city hall and their citizens, and they wanted stronger relationships between the two as well. So I'll let David tell you a little bit about what we did with those needs.
Yeah, so through our discussions with our client representatives as well as with our research, we recognized that to achieve better communication between the city and its community, we would have to unite the community to a common cause and create the desire to become more involved within East St. Louis. So this laid the foundation for some of our campaign messages that would shape our entire campaign and ultimately created the theme, We Are East St. Louis. So this theme kind of gave an overarching idea that residents could unify behind, and our logo specifically utilized the city's colors as well as famous icons from the city such as Miles Davis and Jackie Joyner Kersee, which allowed people to kind of recognize that those icons, just like themselves, make up East St. Louis. And with this theme, we were better able to shape our campaign goals and objectives. And so our first goal was to actually increase the awareness in the community of what the mayor's office does and provides. And this was done through print mailers, as well as a monthly newsletter that was published on the website and on social media, and news releases. And so that kind of led to our second goal, which was to further push those connections directly with the community through social media posts and engagement, as well as making that direct connection with residents and our followers. And so finally, with our third goal, we were planning to put together guidelines for a future cultural event that could celebrate the history and present times of the city of East St. Louis. And so with that, I'll pass you back to Becky, who will talk to you a bit about the theories and concepts that shaped that campaign.
We looked at a couple theories to shape our campaign. The first was the social exchange theory, which was founded by Homans in 1958. It was later expanded. So this theory is about relationships and how they are in exchange. Every time someone is going to either enter a relationship or choose whether or not to stay in one, they are looking at the pros and the cons, or the costs or the benefits of the relationship. So if they only see costs, they're not going to want to be in the relationship. They're looking for the benefits that they will get from being in the relationship. The second theory we looked at was the elaboration likelihood method. This is a persuasive theory founded by Petty and Cacioppo, and it's about attitude change and how you get to attitude change. And they said that there's 2 processing routes that get you there. There's the central route, which is based on logic, evidence, science, and law. And there's the peripheral route, which is about liking, social proof, attractiveness, and consistency. So for our research for this campaign, we conducted interviews for primary research and surveys. We interviewed the mayor of East St. Louis, Sarah Joshua, the executive assistant to the mayor, and Cynthia Brown, a city hall employee. We also sent out surveys, and although we used many routes of distribution, we were only able to get 10 surveys. However, we think that that is definitely because of the theory we chose, the social exchange theory, because the citizens only saw the costs of the relationship with City Hall. They did not see the benefits, and they did not see the benefit of completing our survey. So then we went to do some secondary research on the city website, their social media that they had already, and any other publications we found about the city on the website. So now I'll pass you to Alex for the reflection on our campaign.
Our campaign was basically most likely on social, not most likely, but it was more or less on social media than anything. And we wanted to just help promote the municipality as a whole and help promote different active members within the community. We also focused on different events that were happening in the community during this semester, and we wanted to focus more on the census. With the census, they would lose home rule, meaning that they would become a town instead of a city if not everyone or a majority of the citizens completed the census. We also wanted to promote different events within the city. In February, they wanted to focus on Black History Month, so we posted a lot of events in recognition to what Black History Month is and what they involve within their city. We also promoted different features within the city. And then once we got closer to our event time, we wanted to promote more information about what our event would entail. And with that, Becky will do the reflection on event.
So we had planned a event for the city of East St. Louis to go along with our campaign. And so we have now created blueprints or guidelines for what the city will need going forward to throw this event. So we were working with TAKE, an organization in East St. Louis called Teens Against Killing Everywhere, and they allowed us to use their venue for the event. So we had planned for both inside and outside layouts of the event. The big main portion of the event was going to be a local talent showcase where we were going to invite talent like the high school band and choir, the middle school strings, local dance groups like the Sunshine Cultural Arts Center and the SIUE East St. Louis Performing Arts Center. There was a couple other local performers that were going to be there, and we are also going to extend the opportunity for citizens to participate on like a open mic sort of thing. We are going to invite local businesses as vendors to showcase what they have and what they do in the city. And we're going to have a multitude of kid-friendly activities like bouncy houses, chalk murals, and relay races. We're going to have basketball pickup games for everybody to enjoy. There was going to be a food truck and free food from local stores and gas stations. And then there was going to be tents for people to promote the census and for citizens to fill that out. And now Maddie will tell you about our target publics.
So after research through primary and secondary measures, we were able to conclude that youth, young adults, and adults over 60 would be our target public for the campaign. And when reviewing the Facebook analytics before and after the campaign, we were able to recognize that the average reach in January was 356, and the average reach in April was 1,394, which is a rather big jump. And 26.79% of the average reach in April was the target audience. And some tactics we used to reach these target audiences and connect with them were the newsletters that were published every month on the second Friday. And we also used relevant posting to connect with them. So by this, I mean the post to the right shows a post that we did about T-Baby, and she is what you would call a local celebrity in East St. Louis. And that is our most engaged with post of the campaign with 1,047 post engagement rate and a 5,274 reach. Some things that we recognized we needed to change throughout the campaign were that we started linking content to the website to drive more traffic there. We also used a lot more "we are" language to flow back to our message of "We are East St. Louis." And we also started using different wording for each platform so that we were a little bit more coherent with that. So for the reflection on the event participants, we decided to use several different routes. To evaluate the event, we were going to use first an exit survey. So when people were to leave the event, we would hand out a small piece of paper for them to fill out with questions measuring qualitative and quantitative data. We were also going to have a few of us walking around during the event and selecting a few participants to answer a few questions, just to get a little bit more detail on how they really felt about the event. And to track attendance, we planned to print out social media promotion cards and hand them out to every single person that walked in. And we would subtract the amount left by the amount that we printed. And to ensure a great experience at the event, we planned to promote the event on social media several weeks in advance. Also put out flyers on social media and around the town, and send a media release to a media list 4 to 8 weeks in advance. We also had yard signs that would be set up around the location so that people knew where they were going and felt welcome, along with a large welcome banner that would be on site with the event logo. And we also, like Becky mentioned, we had programming for all age groups so that everyone felt like they were having a good time.
And just as any campaign would, we faced both strengths and weaknesses, though our strengths outweighed our weaknesses. A strength of the campaign was that we created social media accounts for our clients, both Twitter and Instagram, in addition to upkeeping their Facebook account. This gave us the opportunity to begin building connections between the municipality and its citizens. This also gave us additional platforms to push out information and to promote our event. Another campaign strength was the promotional materials that we'll be discussing in the upcoming slides. These promotional materials were a creative way to let citizens know about the events within the city so they'll become involved, as well as to spread knowledge about programs and grants provided by the city. And being that our clients were high profile, a campaign weakness of ours was conflicting news. During our campaign, the news would break stories that wouldn't show our clients in the best light and would upset residents of East St. Louis. And being that our campaign was about bringing the two together, it counteracted the messages we were sending out. But we combated that by continuing to push out positive messages that we wanted to communicate via social media. An event strength that we had was definitely the partnership that we had with TAKE, known as Teens Against Killing Everywhere. This partnership was essential because they were known in the city already and they were established. So with the event, they were already a known group that could bring out a good turnout. This partnership also led us to have our location, which was at the old A.M. Jackson Middle School, which was a known location within the city. So this was a good location, as well as being off the highway, which could also bring passers into being interested in what our event was going on. And the event weakness that we had was the time of year, being that it's in the during the springtime. We had to plan for both indoor and outdoor event because of this possibility for rain. So we made that transition to make that sure that we planned for both outdoor and indoor event. Another event weakness we had was the space. Because it wasn't the largest space, we had to make do with what we had, but we created a laid out plan for how we wanted to make the event look.
So we all worked really hard on this project, and as the account manager, I was in charge of facilitating meetings, planning them, and planning all the communication between our client and our team to get those meetings the time and place of all of them. All my tactics also were about event planning and programming. So I was the one reaching out to individuals, asking them to perform at the event or be at the event, and also talking to all the vendors for all of the things that we would have rented for the event.
So I checked and overlooked all written materials provided by the group as well as provided feedback. I created and published promotional materials for the client's housing programs, which were updated on city's website, as well as I provided written instructions to our clients on how to go about sending out the mailers I pre-designed in the future to the residents of East St. Louis, as well as secured a food truck for the now postponed event that will now be referenced in our guidelines that we provide for our clients for them to use in the upcoming future.
I worked on creating the newsletters and publishing those to the website and working with Alex to get that posted on the social media pages. I also drafted the press release, which is ready for whenever the event may happen. And I worked on the social media training and presented that to the correct people. I went around East St. Louis with Alex and Lacey, and we took photos of the town to be promoted on the social media and other platforms. And I also kept the team on task and on deadline.
So with my role, I focus largely on helping steer this team, especially with event planning, and kind of taking a step back and looking at why we're doing the things we're doing, how we're going to accomplish that, just to make sure that we're setting the campaign as well as the event up for to be as successful as possible. One other thing that I largely focused my time on was designing the marketing materials for the event, including the event logo, yard signs, banner, mailers, social media campaign, and any of the posts included in that.
With my role, I ran the social media campaign for the city of East St. Louis on Facebook and Instagram. We helped promote the different aspects of what the community wanted to see. And at the beginning of the semester and last semester, we created a Marked Communications logo and campaign logo.
So while we all had our own tactics to tackle, we are also really great as a team and would step in anytime anyone needed anything. And now we'll talk about our promotional materials.
I created a program mailer and a program digital flyer for our clients. The program mailer highlighted the city's housing grants and programs that they had, as well as for small businesses. I highlighted Billy's Pastries, that was a business that's known in East St. Louis that used one of the city's grants. And as well as on the program digital flyer, I highlighted Billy's Pastries, as well as incorporated a better layout for the city and updated the materials that they had on the website previously. And I got that published on the website for the mayor's office to use in the future.
So here we have a sample of one of the newsletters. This was the first one to go out. There were 3 in total, and again, these were published on the website under the newsletter tab that was created specifically for this newsletter every second Friday of the month. And the newsletters included information about office updates within the mayor's office, recent news around the city, and any upcoming events that we thought citizens would be interested in.
With the social media campaign, we wanted to focus on promoting local businesses, so doing business highlights different days of the week. We also wanted to promote active leaders. Like Maddie said earlier, we promoted T-Baby, where Becky and I met her at a City Hall event on, I believe it was a Thursday, and they were doing a pastor meeting with the local churches. She was one of the bigger post outreaches that we got from the citizens. Another way to promote the city was to find local historical places throughout the city and have people recognize them throughout social media. And with social media, we did campaign. With the campaign, we wanted to help bring the citizens together and just kind of see what they wanted to see on social media to help bring City Hall and the citizens together throughout the rest of the time that the office has. And Maddie will now talk about social media training.
So at the bottom left corner, we have a screenshot from the presentation, and that presentation was given to Sarah, the executive assistant to the mayor, their photographer and other social media manager, and their intern that they have that will be taking over more social media as we transition from this campaign. And so the main topics that we talked about were the goals and objectives of why we're posting on social media and our intent with that, the different types of content that can be used on social media. We talked about hashtags and best practices for those and platforms, along with some good and bad examples from Becky to steer them in the right direction and make sure that they had a clear message. And so here we have the event press release. So the red spots are what can be changed when that is finalized. And we also have a quote by the mayor talking about how excited he is about the event, hopefully to draw people's interest. And then we also have, of course, everything highlighted about the event that is important. And this will be sent by Sarah to the media list that I provided her with, hopefully within 4 to 8 weeks of the new event date. And so here we have the event space blueprint or map. So starting at the entrance, people will walk in and there will be basketball games to the left, and underneath the awning will be the business vendors, so they can purchase things or look around. There will be a jump house in the, a bounce house in the grass in the back, along with relay races for the kids, and chalk in a designated area for them to play with. Then we will have the census table towards the front, so that people can fill those out before they watch the performances. And we have tables for the food truck and the other snacks that we'll be providing, along with chairs in front of the stage, which leads to the back door where the talent would be able to practice and warm up before they perform.
So to kind of help promote this event, we made sure to focus on a few different types of promotional materials. And on these materials, we made sure to have one singular event logo, which had the images of various groups from East St. Louis that shaped their culture within the word culture. And so this included the cultural dance groups, jazz musicians, the football team, as well as other music groups and sports that are local to the city of East St. Louis. And so the first material that we had was a print mailer that would be sent out to the 2 top populated precincts to act as kind of a save the date for the event, which also highlighted the organizations that we were partnering with, as well as the census, since that was a major focal point for the event. And so the next material that we created after that one was a banner that would hang from the Take Center, which was a high traffic area in the city, as well as the venue where the event was to be held. So this would kind of act as a great promotional material before the event, as well as a banner for the day of the event. And so moving from the print materials to the digital materials, we kind of focused on the social media campaign, which included the Facebook event cover, which would have a brief overview of key details of the event, as well as some of the sample Facebook posts. So the one seen on this slide was part of the open mic call for local talent performers. And so with these promotional materials, we were confident that we would be able to get the diverse audience as well as reach all of our target audiences for this event. And so now that we've covered the event planning aspects of the campaign, Becky will talk to you about the campaign and event impact.
So with all of our campaign themes and messages that we had throughout the campaign and the plan for what will happen at the event, we are hoping to have a lasting impact of the We Are East St. Louis mentality, meaning that we are East St. Louis, we as the citizens, the City Hall, and everybody. It's unity, and that everyone is together and working towards a better city. This would also hopefully create a more active community. So maybe in the future, if there was to be a survey, more citizens would complete it and they would be more willing to attend events like ours in the future. We are hoping to have a celebration of the community and culture of East St. Louis, because it is something that should be celebrated and something that we know that they are proud of. Another big part of it was the census. Alex explained the importance of the census for the city, and we were hoping that the active community portion of the impact and the East St. Louis, We Are East St. Louis mentality would encourage them to fill out the census, and that would also be a big portion of the event. So I think I can speak for our whole team when I say we are extremely thankful for the opportunity we had to work with the city of East St. Louis, and we learned so much beyond adapting or applying all of our skills we learned in the classroom, and we got skills that we couldn't have learned in the classroom, like our professionalism and our communication with our clients. So that is our campaign.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, and I am also grateful that you had a good attitude towards the client organization when sometimes for them being so busy with their activities, they were kind of going incommunicado for short periods of time, but eventually we were able to, or you were able to implement many activities that were very helpful for their image, for their presence in the eyes of their community, and to improve their relationship with their community as you presented today. So I wanted for you to mention a little bit, because there were different, many of you contributing design along these 2 semesters. So what were the programs that you used to design the logo, to design those flyers, materials for the community, and so on and so forth?
So Illustrator was used, Photoshop, and a lot of other templates were from Canva, and then we converted those to Photoshop and Illustrator to just bring out a better image of what we wanted to use. We were just getting an idea with Canva.
Right, right. And you improved also their presence on social media, right? With the electronic messages and the combination of photos and text and copy.
A lot of the images that we had with social media were from when Maddie, Lisi, and I went out and took pictures within the city with Sarah. Sarah was with us, and she just emphasized like the different places that the community recognizes themselves with. One of those was Food Lovers Grill, and Food Lovers Grill is one of the little diners that the mayor actually goes to and eats lunch there like at least 3 times a week, she said. So it was just bringing those different insights together.
Right. For the final image of the group, Becky, you can close the sharing of your screen so we can see everybody in bigger images. Anything else that you would like to add at the end of this campaign? No. Well, this will be a historical document because hopefully in other iterations of ACS 414, 415, we won't be faced with the same situation, but we never know. So my intention is to save this video and post it on my YouTube channel, and I will share the connection, the link with you. You should save the video for yourselves, and I will share this with the faculty so they can see what you have done in the past 2 semesters. Thank you very much for your work.